Senator Hinch, last year, was not on my agenda or my bucket list. A year ago, he just formed a political party. Hinch, a politician, give me a break. He's been fighting with pollies and prime ministers for years, for decades. But it is truly a great honour in any Australian's life and a challenge. A big challenge to be chosen by the Australian people to represent them in this august National Assembly, this chamber of democracy. And it brings with it an awesome responsibility. I am now, as you all know, one of only 580 people who have held that title, ever. That is hundreds less than have worn the baggy green or played VFL or AFL football. Reportedly, I am in the record books as being the oldest person ever elected to the Australian Senate. So I guess I'll be enshrined as a Trivial Pursuit question. And when that fact was made public, somebody tweeted, there should be an age limit in the Senate. And I tweeted back, I agree 100%. What minimum age do you suggest? Now, jokes aside, I don't take the task lightly. I do believe I'm in a unique position. I've met every Australian Prime Minister since Robert Menzies. I met Ming in 1964. I've interviewed most Prime Ministers since then, from Harold Holt on, and I didn't vote for any of them. I didn't vote against them because I still think compulsory voting is wrong. I think it's undemocratic, and I will campaign against it while I'm here. I also still believe that media commentators should be exempt from voting. They should not vote, or if they do, they should tell you how they vote. You can be granted exemption, you may not know, on religious grounds, so why not on moral grounds or philosophical grounds or occupational grounds? Now, I've been accused of hypocrisy for voting for the first time on July the 2nd. Well, I'm no longer a journalist. And I did point out I'd waited a lifetime to find somebody worth voting for, but that is a joke choice. I also think it's an appalling situation. In this IT age, when 1 month after a federal election, the results still weren't officially known, not to mention the census debacle. And surely something is rotten in the state of Denmark, as they say, when all of us here in this Senate today started getting a taxpayer-funded paycheck from July the 1st, when we didn't even sit for one day in this chamber for the next 2 months, and will barely sit again until Christmas. Now, speaking of what happens and doesn't happen here in the Senate, I also think it's wrong there are so many media restrictions on when and how we can be filmed or photographed in this chamber. It is wrong that a senator can only be photographed when he or she is on their feet and has the call. This is the People's House of Review. The media should be able to see us in action or inaction. And if you get caught nibbling your earwax or counting your money or dozing, then that's tough. I was fair game when I got caught with eyes closed during the Governor-General's boring recital of Malcolm Turnbull's speech. So I will introduce a motion to try to change this, and we'll join a Press Gallery High Court bid, if necessary, to allow the same freedoms here for media photographers as they have in the lower house. Now, my ambition in this House is to do my best for the people who elected me. I know all politicians, you all say that, we all say that. I'll call things as I see them, my career supports that. People ask me, how come I get sacked so often? At last count, I've been fired 16 times. And I say, well, they hire me for who I am and what I say, and then they fire me for who I am and what I say. And the people of Australia and Victoria have just hired me, and if they don't like it, they're entitled to fire me. It looks like it will be 3 years. It should be 6, as you know, under S282, which was brought in by Prime Minister Bob Hawke because he thought it was a fair call, and a 6-year term for me and the Greens, Senator Rhiannon. In New South Wales, that was one of the recommendations from the Australian Electoral Commission when they returned the writs on August the 8th. The electoral pendulum inventor, Malcolm McKerris, he agrees with that. But you big boys got together, surprise, surprise, and what the Liberals and the Greens started in 2016 with that unholy alliance to destroy the minor parties, the government and Labor continued with your minor party stitch-up in this chamber. It was a Senate decision, it was not a constitutional one, and self-preservation prevails. But at least I got the first division vote, even though I lost it. Anyway, I've said, as leader of Derryn Hinch's Justice Party, I'll try to be an unpolitical politician, a common-sense politician. I won't be PC, I won't be politically correct. And that's why I say from the outset, although I have hopes, high hopes of achieving good things, I've seen other people come here with high hopes and great dreams and stumble and crumble. An Australian icon, Peter Garrett, a man of principle who came here cloaked in great ideas and ideals, many idealistically ingrained in him from the lyrics of Midnight Oil. He left broken and disillusioned and compromised unfairly shackled to a Labor government's fatally reckless pink band scandal which cost 4 young lives. Neville Wran, the former New South Wales Labor Premier and Labor Party President, once admitted over a bottle of confessional Chardonnay that by the time you get to the top, you're covered in so much blood and muck from the deals you made on the way up, you forget what drove you, what inspired you into seeking public office in the first place.